Friday evening, the group chat explodes with party invitations and weekend countdowns. Somewhere, someone reads every single message, smiles softly, and taps decline. The relief is instant, almost physical, like dropping a heavy bag you forgot you were carrying. They head straight home, skipping the drinks, without a shred of guilt. Society is quick to label them as weird or boring, but psychological science suggests the opposite. Those who prefer staying home often possess higher emotional intelligence and a powerful capacity for independent thinking. They aren't broken. They are just wired differently. So why does being isolated actually signal a healthy, high-functioning brain? To understand that, we have to look at what a standard modern workday does to their nervous system. From early morning, it's an absolute assault on the senses, blaring car horns, suffocating crowds, and the harsh glare of office fluorescent lights. Add the exhaustion of superficial small talk, machine gun keyboard typing, and ringing phones, and you get a recipe for mental chaos. In behavioral psychology, this is called environmental overstimulation. For a homebody, this isn't just noise, it's a sensory attack that quietly drains their limited supply of mental energy with each passing hour. This sensory overload turns an ordinary workday into a silent battle of endurance. By 5 p.m., their social battery isn't just low, it's completely depleted from the constant pressure to maintain an energetic public persona. The long commute through heavy traffic becomes the final test of patience, making the exact moment they step across their own doorstep carry immense psychological significance. The exact moment they step across their own doorstep and close the door carries immense psychological significance. The sound of the lock turning signals the official end of exhausting social roles played out in public. Their body begins to relax completely as they drop the heavy backpack onto the hardwood floor of the room. The human brain immediately stops producing harmful stress hormones like cortisol within their rapidly calming bloodstream. The parasympathetic nervous system activates strongly to bring the entire body back into a natural state of recovery. Home is no longer just 4 plain walls made of concrete, wood, and glass, as society usually assumes. This personal space has truly become a genuine charging station, designed specifically for weary, exhausted human souls. They lie down comfortably on a soft sofa, enjoying the beautiful atmosphere of absolute peace around them. There is no longer any urgent pressure to smile politely or try to please any other person around. The absolute silence in the room does not feel scary at all, but rather acts as healing medicine. They are totally free to do what they love without fearing the harsh criticism or judgment of others. Every minute spent resting at home brings a deep sense of personal safety and profound mental satisfaction. Mental energy is restored slowly but steadily through small, simple activities like watching a favorite movie, brewing a hot cup of herbal tea, or turning a few pages of a book feels deeply meaningful. They feel returned to their most authentic self, completely stripped of any fake masks required by society. This represents the golden era of staying inside, where all external life pressures are pushed far away. Quiet spaces soothe the psychological wounds and deep exhaustion accumulated throughout a frantic day in the city. They enjoy absolute freedom in managing their own time and space according to personal desires and needs. This immense comfort nurtures a profound inner peace that the chaotic outside world can never truly provide. However, can this sweet, peaceful isolation last forever? As night falls, the smartphone in their hand emits a cold blue light, and with it, a creeping anxiety. Mindlessly scrolling through social media reveals glittering venues, radiant smiles, and endless weekend celebrations. Instantly, the trap of FOMO is sprung. A toxic question arises. Am I wasting the best years of my youth? Deep insecurity awakens through the brutal act of comparison. In a world designed to reward extroverts, choosing stillness brings an invisible stigma. A heavy sense of guilt slowly breaks the fragile peace you worked so hard to build. You wonder if you're falling behind, and the boundary between healthy rest and dangerous isolation is incredibly thin. When solitude turns into chronic loneliness, the safe room you loved transforms into a self-imposed prison. How do you distinguish between genuine emotional recovery and a harmful retreat from reality? To save ourselves from this mental spiral, we must look past the guilt. It's time to decode this entire phenomenon through the clear, objective lens of neuroscience. Now let us step away from the emotional spiral and look at this through the lens of neuroscience. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It is simply wired differently. Research shows that extroverts run on dopamine, the chemical that screams, more stimulation, more reward, more. They need loud rooms, new faces, constant movement. Without it, they feel flat. But the homebody brain operates on a completely different fuel source called acetylcholine. This quieter neurotransmitter generates deep satisfaction from internal activities, thinking, reading, creating, observing. One system craves the outside world. The other builds entire universes from within. Neither is broken. Now, the full neuroscience is more complex than any single chemical explanation can capture. But the core insight remains powerful. Your need for solitude has a biological basis, not a moral failing. Once you truly absorb that fact, something remarkable happens inside your mind. The fear of missing out loses its grip. A new concept takes its place. JOMO, the joy of missing out. It sounds like a joke. It is not. It is a deliberate decision to protect what fuels you. Saying no to a draining event is not weakness. It is maintenance. You would never shame a phone for needing to recharge. Why shame yourself? Staying home stops being an excuse and becomes a strategy, a conscious act of self-preservation. When you stop measuring your life against someone else's dopamine-driven scoreboard, guilt evaporates. You are not falling behind. You are running a completely different race on a completely different track. The quiet ones are not broken versions of loud people. They are a different species of strength. Thinkers, creators, listeners. Civilization was built as much by solitary minds as by social ones. You do not owe the world your exhaustion. You owe yourself the conditions to thrive. And for you, that condition might simply be a locked door and a silent room. Accept that without apology. The science is on your side. So how do you protect this lifestyle without letting it swallow you whole? 3 rules. Simple to understand, harder to practice, worth every effort. Rule 1. Curate your circle ruthlessly. You do not need 20 friends. You need 3 who never make you perform. The ones who can sit beside you in complete silence and call it a perfect evening. Stop maintaining friendships that cost more energy than they return. That is not selfish. That is math. Rule 2. Make your no a complete sentence. Not, no, sorry, I would love to, but I am so tired, and maybe next time. Just no. Delivered warmly, without a 5-paragraph defense attached to it. Every time you decline, without over-explaining, you train the world to respect your rhythm. Boundaries are not walls you build against people. They are doors only you control. Rule 3. Design your solitude, instead of just falling into it. This is where most homebodies fail. They collapse on the couch and call it recharging. Real restoration is intentional. Cook something slow. Write 3 pages. Learn 1 song on guitar. Turn your alone time into a craft, not just an absence of people. A Netflix binge feels good for 30 minutes. A finished painting feels good for 30 years. Now, here is the part most introvert advice leaves out. Complete isolation is not peace. It is a slow poison dressed in comfortable clothes. Keep 1 thread alive, 1 weekly call, 1 neighbor you greet by name, 1 coffee shop you visit. Micro connections are not socializing. They are oxygen. You need very little, but you need some. The goal was never to disappear from the world. The goal is to show up on your own terms, fully charged, genuinely present. In a society that measures your worth by how busy and loud you appear, choosing stillness is not a retreat. It is a quiet act of revolution. You do not need to change who you are. You never did. Just build a life that fits the mind you were actually given. And when you close that door tonight, close it with pride. And when you close that door tonight, close it with pride. That silence you hear is not emptiness. It is the sound of a life designed on purpose. This is our mind decoding series, where we transform your inner conflicts into clarity. If this video resonated with you, please subscribe. The next video might be what you've been waiting for. And leave a comment. What does your perfect quiet evening look like? Thank you for being here. See you soon.